And it is Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday. You know, yesterday on the show, a lot of Taylor Swift was played. It was T Swizzle's birthday, and we know how producer Emily feels. Today, we are kind of on a Whitney Houston kick. And producer Emily says this song stuck in her head because of our Whitney Houston bit, because Sliwa wants Whitney Houston to be played instead of Adele, just to explain it all. Anyway, there you go. Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday continues now.
It sounds just like me. I was going to go.
You sang The Bodyguard, though, right?
I did. This is a different one, but this is a better song to me.
You killed it, by the way.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference.
This is what my mom tried to get me to not sing this Starscream banner when I was like 8 years old. I didn't have strong enough voice. I needed someone else to back me up.
Of everything
I want to
today.
hear you do The Bodyguard.
Of everything today. Go back to the podcast. I don't know how many times I have to say this today. Of everything today.
Yeah.
Did you know that Taylor Swift does not write her songs?
That's disappointing.
It's crushing, to be honest with you.
Go back and listen to the podcast, guys.
I know. I heard all that.
It's like Sean McVay not making the play calls during a Rams game.
Right,
It's
exactly.
I did not know that. I thought he makes the calls.
To be honest, though, finding out that Elton John didn't write any of his songs was very disappointing to me.
Well, he wrote the music, not the lyrics.
Right. He didn't write the lyrics.
Yeah, Bergman.
Music's half the song.
Yeah.
Music is half the song, but he didn't write the lyrics.
So he should get 50% of the credit.
The other
Just
guy
like T Swift.
Who's the guy that writes with
Bernie Taupin?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's who. Did you know that? Bernie Taupin?
What? Like
You totally lost.
in the words of Marge Simpson, music, it's none of my business.
Sometimes silence is the loudest.
Yeah, you guys go ahead.
Don't throw me in here.
It's
I don't know
interesting
anything
stuff.
about any of this stuff either.
All right, so yesterday we were talking a lot about like unwritten rules and like that no one follows these rules in life anymore. So I went to Whole Foods yesterday after I went to go work out.
Nice. Okay.
I know, it's crazy. I'm rolling in dough, but
Trying to
I
make me
was
look bad?
I was in Whole Foods because I really wanted something fresh. So I wanted to go to the hot bar, like Slee did, to get some turkey after Thanksgiving. So
That stuff is good.
Turkey, the whole thing.
Right, so I spent essentially $20 on a salad.
Oh, they get you by the
Yeah,
pound.
it's
Yeah, you're screwed.
ridiculous.
Yeah, you're screwed.
So I get into line at the Whole Foods in Silver Lake, which is kind of an odd line. Someone cuts me, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm just invisible today.
She said that this morning, like somebody cut you?
Yeah.
Not
What do you mean?
like cut in front of her in the line.
sorry.
Like I
Oh,
thought
you thought-
somebody
Cut me in line.
somebody stabbed her with those
Somebody
tubing
went
or
at her.
something.
Somebody went at her. They were
Yeah.
trying to get in line.
They just shaved the end of a toothbrush.
I will say
Yeah.
that Whole Foods there.
Yeah,
So I think in the beginning, is it called Whole Foods now or is it 365 still?
it's Whole Foods.
Okay, so they changed it back. That is a chaotic Whole Foods.
Everything
There
in Silver
are
Lake is
no
chaotic.
rules at that Whole Foods, just
No
so you
rules.
know. No, that's Silver
Why
Lake
is it
location.
so rambunctious?
I don't know. The one in Pasadena, I feel like people are waving at you. They got their hands crossed and
Well, it's
they kind
Pasadena.
of bow. They say everything. That one, it's like,
They bow.
I don't even have your story yet. A lot of bows going on. I don't even have your story yet, but I'm already like, yeah, that makes sense for that whole.
Yeah, totally. So I get to the front of the line again after someone cut me in line. I get to my section of
What
line.
did you say when they cut in front of you?
I just gave him a dirty look, but I wasn't going to say anything.
Ooh,
By the
dirty
way,
look.
good
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah, so it was a
No, I think you
mother
have
and a
to say
daughter, so
something.
it wasn't like I was like in fear of my life or anything. But I get to my
Dangerous, unpredictable.
I would say,
Wild
excuse me.
wild cards.
You just stepped in front of me where there's a line behind here.
I would have if I had more effort or if I had more energy. Regardless, I went to the my little conveyor belt and put all my stuff. I only had three items.
Salad.
And a salad, a energy drink, and water. And so
Okay.
I put my divider down after I got those three things because it's I want people to, if they have stuff in their hands, put it down. All that good
Oh,
stuff.
no, divider's a good move.
Right.
It's the right move.
So
As you should.
and so
In a civilized society.
I'm going to check out. Beep 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 beep. I'm like, what?
That's four things. You just scanned four things.
And this woman's
He noticed
stuff
the beeps, count them out.
is in my. It was being ring up on my order, and I was like, like I went to the person. I was like, that's not mine. And then the woman behind me had just put stuff inside of my divider, as if it was like her order. And then the woman checking me out was like, "Oh, are you with her?" And I'm like, "No."
Do you remember what it was?
It was some chicken, and it was going to be like some wine or something like that too. Like it wasn't.
Is it an honest mistake on the other person's part?
I don't know. I did give her a dirty look. I was
Okay,
kind
so
of
here's
like,
the
"Are you
question.
What did she
Everybody's
say?
getting
me?
dirty looks.
From-
Dirty
from-
look for the person and cut her off. The dirty look behind her.
I'm
So,
intimidating."
I want to try to see if I got the picture of this right. You have your salad and your two drinks.
Yeah.
Piece of rubber tubing. How much real estate from your rubber tubing to the start of the rest of her order were those two things?
Great question.
So it was my tubing was like right after my stuff, and
Okay.
then she kind of. I didn't see this happen, but she must have moved the rubber tubing because it.
Maybe she thought you were buying a piece of rubber tubing.
What did she think was going to happen? You just weren't going to put it in a bag?
I think she was probably like, F around and find out. It's like maybe she was trying to F around and see if I actually just paid for her stuff. It's the Christmas season. Maybe she thought I was going to be jolly and be like, oh, no,
Pay
it's
it
like pay it forward.
Right.
But paying it forward at Whole Foods would be like a down payment on a house. Like, I'm not going to do that. So I was just like, yeah, this isn't my stuff. And like me and the cashier lady kind of had like yeah, this is a little strange. And then the woman just she didn't say anything to me.
No acknowledgement.
No acknowledgement.
Did you say anything to her or just to the cashier?
I just was, I said to the cashier, yeah, she's not with me. And then I gave the person like a look of like, what the heck? I
Get
had to
your
have my
chicken
hands
and
out.
wine on your own side of the tube, lady.
So she said nothing whatsoever. Not like, oh,
Said
sorry, yeah,
nothing.
that's mine.
No,
Nothing.
she said nothing. I was like, yeah, that's not mine. And then she came back and then she
world's over.
completed her order, I guess, after I left. And I was like, that's just such a strange and weird interaction. And maybe I won't go back to Whole Foods anytime soon.
How do you not say anything to her whatsoever, or to the guy that in front of you, that cut in front of you? There's a lot of things that are happening here that. What was going on in your mind that you're like, I'm just going to give it a dirty look, and that'll fix
I don't know,
everything?
I got to mince my words. I think I get a little, I could get more heated than I want to. So I'm trying to, maybe turn a new leaf and be a little chiller. And so just my look is enough to be like, yeah, don't mess with me. But
You want to be chiller.
I don't
Just buy
think
the
most
food.
people are getting fights at Whole Foods. You don't have to worry.
Yeah, I didn't want to be banned from the Whole Foods forever.
She'd be like, what's his name? The kid that's not allowed to go to the Laker games
Graham.
anymore?
Graham is
is not
done.
allowed to go to crypto, and Emily's banned from the Silver Lake Whole Foods.
Right, and it was still like $30. What three things that I ordered, but it was just like it. I just can't get over the gall of her to just assume that this would go through, that no one would catch it, and I would just go through my life.
This
Okay,
is
look,
this
this
is
is a
where
whole new
this is where
Travis.
we defer. This is where you and I think are different. I'm going to go to I think she made an honest mistake.
In that scenario,
To move my
but
rubber thing?
This is why I asked about the tube. The positioning of the tube is
Critical.
It's the entire case.
If we're on trial right now.
It's the entire. We're going to the footage of the security camera to see where the tube is. Because if I'm picturing this right, you've got a water bottle, a drink, and a salad, and then immediately in the back tube. Like there's no room to. If the chicken and the wine got put in there and she had to move the tube, it was 100% intentional.
It was intentional.
Let's just say Emily is
But if she
doing
left
what
a
she's
little
doing.
gap-
What if she left a little
If it's a
space?
gap-
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's a gap or not.
You could see that happening. If
Putting
there's-
it over you have to put it over the tube.
I wouldn't put it over, but now the question comes down to is how much space between the tube and the
back end.
water or the salad.
Yes.
Is there enough to fit some chicken in there?
Right, there should be no space. It doesn't matter.
I rest
if
my
space is
case.
there.
Alan Sliwa.
What you do, Emily, the next time you put your tube down, you turn around and you just hard eye contact the lady behind you like, I dare you to put that chicken back there.
Nope.
Just
I use my
One
arm.
other thing happened in my line the other day.
I walk with it.
You move your arm
You go the speed of the belt.
like you're
right? You
covering
just
up your
walk right
test.
down.
What are you
cheating.
doing? I don't want anybody.
But
knowing
you hear
myself.
it, Travis. You just said that you want to do this. Who are you
I would
today?
never do that.
No, but I know. But you want to take someone's stuff.
I
off
do
their-
want to take the elf. I
You
really
want to take an
do
elf?
want to take
You want to
the elf.
have other people pay for your food? This is
No,
a whole
the
new Travis.
The food one I'm kind of messing around
Travis
with.
like
but I
F it in
really
life.
do
I
want
would
the
do
elf.
it. I would try that.
Say it's 90-10 I'm not, but there's 10% of me that really wants that
Which is
elf.
good. That's a good percentage. I'll take that percentage.
One other small short story. This happened to me over the weekend. I was at Ralph's and I was checking out. I had to get like three things. I was just holding them in my hand, but it was kind of like a little bit. They were bigger than what I could probably hold in my hand. And this person in front of me in the line, she had a grocery cart, a big grocery cart, but she only had a few things too. So she was checking out, and she's like, "Oh, do you want my cart? So you don't have to like hold it for me." And then now I'm straddled with. I took the cart so that I didn't have to hold everything, but now I'm the one who has to like put it away at the end of everything. Like
was
when you
being
go out to the.
nice.
Yeah, they're just trying to do
That
you a
was
favor.
being nice.
But now I had to put the cart away for them, and like no one in this world puts
10
carts
seconds
away
to
anymore.
put the cart away.
Pick your stuff up and give it to the next person, so you don't have to do it.
Should have
They have
stuck
to
with
do
the
it.
first
She didn't
story.
ask you
Should
to
have stuck with the
change
first
it.
story.
Stuck with
First
the
story.
oil.
You look bad
I'm
in the
a bad
second
person.
story.
I'm a bad person.
The
I'm
second
really
Story,
sorry.
there was still some light of who was wrong.
Now
Second
I gotta
story,
take
not.
this cart.
Oh, my
it's
goodness.
a good 5 feet away from me, and I
I
gotta
can't
put
leave
it.
it by my car.
And I got to move it so no other cars don't smash it. That's going to take me an extra 22 seconds. Now what?
What am I supposed to? I'm not getting these 22
Time's
seconds
precious,
back.
Now my day's ruined.
That's it. Christmas is canceled.
I'm with you on the tubing, not so much on the
Okay,
car.
batting 500.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right.
pretty funny.
The Lakers lose to the Celtics last night after nearly getting blown out, after nearly blowing them out, after missing some free throws, after not giving the ball to their best. In other words, Slee, there's a lot going on last night. We'll get into it next. It's Travis Slee, 710 ESPN.
Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa. Travis and Sliwa is on for your Wednesday. We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We begin 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Well, dust it off. We haven't used it in a bit. Yes. Lakers lose last night in overtime at Crypto.com to the hated ones, the rivalry game against the Celtics. What were those LeBron shots we saw at the end? Why did Brody, as Scott Kaplan calls him, dominate the beginning of overtime? And why was AD so tired? All those questions that you saw last night, the one and only Alan Slee was going to ask him. Because, you know, he does Lakers Talk daily. He does Lakers Talk. He's Lakers pre, post, and half. I do have something for Travis Rogers, though. This clip from Super Crosstalk yesterday with John Ireland.
All of a sudden, this guy, who everybody knows, looks at Magic and goes, I swear to God, with this tone, "Hey, man, I was open."
Oh, my God.
And Magic looks at him, and then he looks at me. He goes, "Okay."
How fake was that laugh, Travis? There's no way you found that funny. Anyway, Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday right now.
Sincere laugh. I thought John's story was great. I liked it, and I wanted to laugh at it. That's what we did. Al, can I ask you a question about Bergman?
Yes.
I'm afraid.
Does he not have anything to do today? Why are you in here all day?
I don't know. I just felt like sitting in here for a minute. Is that a problem? I mean, I can
No,
go.
it's not a problem. I just I like it.
You want a show to do?
You've been in here basically the entire show.
No, I wasn't here the entire first hour. I missed Factor Cap.
Yeah.
Saying
You know, I went around.
Pop in here and there in the first hour.
feels like a lot.
I'm going to give you a real answer. Feels like a lot. Listen to you. All right, I'm going to give you a real answer. When John Ireland is the lead, he does so much prep ahead of time, and he doesn't want to hear from me ahead of time.
You're the
He
one.
wants it all to be fresh.
He wants it all to be totally fresh.
Yep.
He does not want to talk about the show before the show. He'll admit it to you if you want. Does not want to talk about it. So on days where he's the lead, my prep work outside of just doing my own specific prep,
A lot different than if Mason
Lessons.
is doing his thing.
Well, it's coming
Absolutely.
at 12.
so I'm coming at 12. It is
Okay,
12.
if you guys are
Get some
trying to
sleep.
kick
You know what
him
I'm saying?
out,
Just, like,
I am
to
against
work.
everybody here.
Oh, I know. You're a different person when he comes in here. You get
you're
super
great.
animated and fired up. It's
Like
great.
a guest
It's a
walking
help.
into the
I'm
house.
helping you,
It's a
Travis.
guest walking into the house.
Like I said, I'm not displeased that you're here. I just find it odd that you are here as frequently as you are today.
Today, most of the days I have a lot more to do. Today was a day that I had a little bit less to do. I did all my prep work. I did my Bobcat segment. I did everything. I sent stuff to Ireland. I think I'm in a good place.
I don't know if you guys have had this experience where somebody in the house will be very busy doing something and you have
100%.
nothing to do and you're just kind of lurking in the area like, so you almost done with that? Or you got you want to go grab a bite to eat? Like, I got to get this done. Yeah, but
Gonna finish
I
that
don't have
pizza?
anything to do.
I think that's my girl sick. Okay, well, I'm just hanging out here then. So,
I'm going to go take Ricky for a walk.
yeah, something like that.
You should do that. Just take him around and just take the dog right next to Lady Slee and go, so are we going on this walk or what?
Oh, no,
Get the
he's
dog
hanging
on
out. For a walk.
bananas?
He's hanging out with her. I forgot to tell you this story. So, you know how you and I have had this parking situation, right? You go to SoFi and they get
right.
you for a good little...
It's awful.
They just get you.
See, it's been 154 different games this year.
150?
150. It was 150 for the Raiders.
It was over 200.
Yeah.
To
USC,
park.
UCLA,
Yeah,
over
believe it.
200.
To park at at
Back
Rose
in
Bowl.
when this was 15 years ago.
200 to park.
So, but hold on, Al. This was 15. It was the Brady Quinn Notre Dame team against the Matt Line. However long ago that was,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They were both
Is that the
really
Bush Push?
good. No, it was a game here in L.A.
Okay.
So the Bush Push was in South Bend.
Right.
But it was here in L.A. And I went to the game with friends. This was this is probably 2004, 5, somewhere in there. It was $100 then. That's 20 years ago.
Damn.
So
The big games get the big money.
parking in LA is lunacy.
I used to do Qualcomm Stadium, Charger games that was like $20. I'm like, $20.
I know.
How am getting in here.
Well, Dodger Stadium at 40 feels like a bargain.
Okay.
It's insane.
So yesterday I had a meeting here in downtown. When's the last time you guys parked? And I'm not parking in these very often. When's the last time these high rises here in downtown?
Not since I've worked here.
Have
Absolutely
you
not.
parked in any of these high rises?
I don't think I
I
have.
parked in the block, and that is expensive.
Okay,
It's
so
like $50 everywhere around here.
well, I was there, and I don't know how they're doing their pricing. Now, listen, and it got validated, but I still have to put my ticket in to see what the price is, and that in itself is like a game. I'm like, oh gosh, what'd they get? Somebody who doesn't get validated, whatever. I was there for 2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours. So this is on a hourly. They're charging you on an hourly.
I think it's like every 10 minutes. in
Actually,
some
it
of
could
these
be.
places.
Maybe it's one of those 15
Yeah.
minutes, and I don't know what the cap is. Okay,
It's like a 3-hour cap. Yeah.
for 2 hours, it's not going to be. I'm not talking like it's 100 and change or whatever it is.
Might be.
But for 2 hours, how much do you think it was?
2 hours. Let's say it's $80.
$80, like 30, 40.
Yeah, it's $45 for 2 hours. So in my head, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, wait a minute here. 2 hours, it's $45. By the way, they also have options. You go
Too
park,
much.
park valet. Like you're going by a valet, and I'm like, I'm not parking my car valet. Just tell me where to park. And of course, like, hey, you don't need to. You don't know where to park. Bring the car in. I'm like, I'm not doing that. It's that much to park in one of these. I had no idea. What are we doing in life? Why didn't we get a parking lot in life?
Why do you think Frank McCourt bought the
That's what I'm
Dodgers
saying.
by owning parking lots?
That's exactly how we got there.
Yeah.
It's always,
He's
and everything's
Still
his
getting
fault.
paid
He
every time.
still
Isn't he
owns
still
the
getting
parking lot? Like he sold everything off other than the parking lot. He bought the
Which was
team
smart.
on a scam, basically,
Yeah.
and parking lot money, and then gutted the franchise, and his reward was you get to keep the parking.
Why don't we all buy parking lots?
What if Dodger fans they strike in parking inside a Dodger Stadium and they just all park on Sunset? You're going to be
No, what would happen is all the lots
9 miles away.
all the lots downtown would be getting 300 a game. Right? They'd just be sticking it to you along the way.
45, 2 hours.
It's
It is
just
the
the
worst.
absolute worst. When I went to the game, the game at SoFi, thankfully I didn't have to pay for it because I got a credential from here.
Must be nice.
It was nice. I'm not gonna lie, but trying to get in is absolutely insane. And then once you're in, it took me an hour. It took me an hour once I got into the area to park.
Okay, what was kickoff?
Like inside the lot?
Inside the lot, like once you actually turned left
Was a
into
car,
the area,
like,
the cars were
dead?
stopped trying to get in there. I was
you get there so
an hour
early.
and a half before the
What time
game.
are you there? How many hours before the game? 3?
3 and change.
When did you get there?
Maybe an hour and a half before.
All right, when we did the Uber to get there, that's the way. In our position, that was the right way to do it.
That was the right way to do it. Absolutely.
But an hour and a half, that doesn't sound shocking to me that it took him that long to get in.
It was so
not
slow.
to get in, but he's saying once he's in, it was
Once
another
it
hour.
was in, it took
Not
forever.
to get in.
How
I don't know
were
if
you
it's
guys doing?
I mean, I might
already-
exaggerate a little bit on the hour, but it was at least 30 minutes. And that's not a joke. It was insane.
Well,
Just
you went from
stop.
an hour and a half.
People trying to go.
So
in
we
and
asked
out of
one
different
question, you
areas.
went to an hour.
It's like the college football
We asked
playoff.
one more question, it's a half hour.
No.
It was
It
free.
took. I said I got there an hour to an hour and a half beforehand. It took an hour. Maybe it was 35, 40 minutes.
I have a suggestion for those of the people who don't have
shut your
a
mouth.
parking
Jeez,
parking
I'm sorry,
at
like
games.
Sliwa.
So you take the train. They have the new train stations that are up in Inglewood, and then you take the shuttle from the train to.
Get on one
so
of
much
those-
less expensive,
Yep.
and you can
Is that
avoid.
what you're doing?
If I didn't have to work,
Right.
for a mile and a half.
Or a lime.
no, you do.
And then
I
you
show
go find
there.
Paulie. Paulie is there. He'll take you down.
These are very simple things, and they're very easy things. It's what I do for Dodger games. It's how people who.
Need my car nearby.
Yeah.
It's a weird LA native thing. Like
No, I
I'm sure
get
if
it.
you grew up
I'm
in
with you,
Chicago
everybody.
or New York or someplace that had more of a traditional public transit system.
yeah.
If
That's
I
actually organized.
if I don't have a car within a 10-minute walk, I start to freak out. Like, how am I to get home? And there's 87 options to get me home, but I like my car on my terms
Can't
to
breathe.
do it.
Totally agreed.
And I'm the one that's complaining to you about walking to the gym because of greenhouse gases. I'm 10,000 times worse.
2 blocks away, 3 blocks away. I got to go
I like to make sure that you're going to be around for the next segment, Berg.
I don't know. Maybe not after that question that you had for me. I didn't have much else to do right now, but fine.
You know what this was? Yeah, hey, you know what that was? That was
a subtle hint.
that was Susan.
That's not a subtle hint, Emily. That is a hint of get the hell out of here.
That was Susan at one of those dinners where everybody's telling her.
Well, it was good to see you, Greg.
Come by anytime, Greg. Just,
Anytime you want, whenever you're bored.
They start cleaning up the dishes and everything else, and Susan's like, "Hey, let's open another bottle of wine."
Slee, hand to God, we were at somebody's house one night and they broke out the vacuum.
Oh, that's just saying go away.
Hand to God. Like, they brought out the vacuum. And I'm like, Susan, do you not see the vacuum cleaner?
She comes out with her pajamas and she's got like face cream on. She's doing everything she does before she goes to
Their
bed.
kids were young. They're like 7 or our kids were at roughly the same age. We made friends through the kids, like you do at this point in your life. And the kids are like coming out, like, why is the vacuum on? They're asleep. They're 8 years old, and it's like, well, we're trying to get rid of this crazy lady from that won't leave the dinner party where everybody else left 2 hours ago, and she's still like,
Susan's awesome.
so what else are you guys doing? It's like they're trying to go to bed. It's 1:30 in the morning, and they got 7-year-olds.
Oh, that's so good.
The vacuum.
Don't change, Susan. Do not change.
It was.
And you don't say anything to her like, honey.
He does.
the
He tries to
vacuum's
give her
out.
hints.
Do I look like the sort of guy that would say nothing?
No, not in the slightest. You're like, the vacuum's going. We gotta
I'm
go.
I'm trying very hard to make sure that my marital life remains peaceful, but at the same time, I don't want these people to hate my guts because I really like them.
right.
That's good.
We haven't been invited back a million times since then. We've gone back,
wonder
but
why.
not as often as we used
Like,
to.
oh, God, we invite them. We're going to have to get the vacuum out again.
All right, back to the Lakers. Coming back from a huge deficit, taking a big lead, and then losing anyway. That was a weird, fun, exciting, exhilarating, deeply disappointing game. All of those things last night. That's next. It's Travis Lee.
I'm leaving.
And Bergman, 710 ESPN.
say. So Slee wants Whitney Houston songs when the Lakers lose. Not Adele. But the Adele bits, producer Emily's right. Adele bits started because a lot of those Lakers tough losses last season. We'll call them tough losses, Slee. But you want Whitney, that's fine. Where do broken hearts go, Slee? Anyway, Travis and Sliwa, your Wednesday continues now.
I'm laying out for Emily to come in and harmonize.
Ev, take over.
Let's go. I don't know this one as well, sorry. But where do broken hearts go?
That was better than the first time. That was better than the.
She's getting more
Bodyguard.
confident in it.
Yeah, she's getting more. You got to belt it out to the back row, Slee. Even if you're not feeling it, you got to sell it, right?
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
See, it's good. We had Adele for 7 years. Now it's mixing a little Whitney.
I don't like that he gave you what you wanted so quickly. You should have
We
had
do
to
Lauryn
earn it.
Hill next. just requesting music.
The reason that you got your Whitney as opposed to your Adele was because that was.
I know.
Can it be all of the things that I said towards the end of last? Can it be disappointing, exhilarating, incredibly fun, exciting, nerve-wracking, and just ultimately
disappointing again?
Just incredibly a downer at the end of the night.
Yeah.
The Lakers-Celtic game last night was all of those things.
Yeah, that was not gonna lie, it's kind of crushing. The Celtics have the best record. Celtics have the best record in the NBA, and the way that you were talking about in the third quarter, Lakers are down 20. I did the halftime report. I go down to the media room, grabbing some water. I look up, I'm like,
Uncrustable?
No, I don't think they had. No, they definitely
Ice cream?
didn't have them yesterday. Did not do ice cream either. I kind of went healthy yesterday. I got to be honest.
Right.
Just once every 3 weeks. But I get down there. You look up at the TV. It's like they're down 20. I'm talking to Jim Hill for a quick second, and Jim is saying, talking about this.
Did he ask about me?
The whole time, that's all we talked about was you. He kept asking, man. Everybody.
Love Jim.
Everybody. And then I go back to, obviously to my seat. And I think the game was, StatMuse had a stat here. It was like, Trav, 41-9 or something like that. Lakers go on a run. And the place is rocking.
Yeah.
The place is rocking. People are having a good time. And you and I have talked about this. There's certain fan bases. Celtics fans are going to come out. They got one game.
Sure.
I think Ben Affleck was out there. You're going to have Boston people that are there. So it's a fun game.
Is J-Lo there?
J-Lo, I did not see J-Lo. Yeah. I don't. I would have told you if I saw.
Okay,
if I saw J-Lo.
that's true. Good point.
And then all of a sudden, that 41-9, whatever run that they went on, you think the game is over. 3:40 something left. You're up 13, and then the place, as it should be, now all of a sudden it's like 13 goes to 10, 10 goes to 8. Another turnover goes to 6. Now you're down 5. Marcus Smart hits a 3. It's 2. It's like, what the hell is going on here? And just this kind of this wave that the Lakers had no control over. I mentioned this to start the show. I mentioned it in the post-game show. I know that the Lakers could have done more. Execution this, execution that. I really, really do look at Anthony Davis as not by far. Anthony Davis is the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes.
Okay? He's the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. He's the best defensive player. He's the best
I think
offensive
he might
player.
have been closer the first time we said he's clearly, maybe instead of by far, he's clearly the best player. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yes. AD is the best player on the Los Angeles Lakers. He shoots 83% from the free throw line. I think it stings even more because against Philly, he was 13 for 13 at the free throw line. Trav, listen to this. 13 for 13 at the free throw line. Ball in his hand. It's basically ball game if hit the free throw. He misses it. Yesterday, he's got 28 seconds. Lakers up 2. Goes to the free throw line. Misses 2 in a row. Tatum ties it. Overtime. Lakers looked gassed.
There are a lot of things going on in that. And I think that I still don't think that you make a big trade. I think if you want to nibble around the edges, I'm okay with that. But I think you got to be really careful about going in because here's why they lost the game. To your point, they made this. They were down 20, and next you turn around, they're up 13. It was like, wait, what just happened? And they were flying. Russ is getting run out dunks. LeBron's getting hammered. It was just place was rocking. And you obviously were there. I'm just watching it on TV. But even sitting in your living room, you're like, yeah, this is pretty awesome. They're putting on a show, and they're kicking the ass of a really good team, and this is great. But the thing that is going to be their Achilles heel all season long started to show up. You can't ask LeBron James and Anthony Davis to play that long, that well, because eventually there's going to be a hiccup. LeBron's shot stopped falling. Anthony Davis missed some free throws. They both played over 40 minutes. They were out of gas. The last, I don't know how many possessions, it felt like a million. It was probably 3 or 4.
Where they didn't run anything?
LeBron's just dribbling out the shot clock and then taking up a terrible 3-point shot. It was prevent offense. It was, the only thing we're trying to get accomplished here is to burn 23 seconds off the clock before we launch a shot. That's it. We're not running a play. We're not giving it to our best player. All of these things are happening. That will happen especially against good teams. I think the Lakers only played 5 guys almost the entire second half, right? Really? They played virtually the entire.
It was Troy Brown Jr., Austin Reeves, Russ, LeBron, and AD had a stretch that was.
And the Celtics, I believe, during that same stretch played 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
No,
so
they did.
They're going to be, they're Tatums and Browns and Smarts and all these guys. They're going to be a little bit fresher at the end of the line. They're also not in their 20th season. Mm-hmm. They're also not a guy that's been dealing with injuries for the last 2+ seasons nonstop. And it just caught up to him. I thought Darvin Ham did a bad job in overtime and not stopping the bleeding and saying, guys, we got to go to AD. He's only touched the ball once. I think that was a mistake on his part.
Even the final 340 or whatever that was.
340 too. Yeah, it felt like they had opportunities to hit the reset button. They really never took it. I'm okay with him playing his guys because what other options does he have? But I think this is going to be kind of the way it goes against those better teams because the Lakers just don't have enough horsepower. And the horsepower they do have, they're asking so much from that question about do you make a deal if you want to win a game like that last night, you have to because these guys cannot get you across the finish line over and over and over. Occasionally, yes. But every single time you get in a tight game, okay, I need 43 minutes out of you. It's an unreasonable ask from these guys. You got to get them some help, or you got to just say this is going to be what it is, one or the other.
I want to play something from Braun here in just a second, okay? So I'm curious to get your thoughts on this. Before the Lakers went on that 6-game road trip, you said, yes, of course, you want to win games. Nobody's saying don't win games,
sure.
But you said how do you look in these games was equally as important to whether you won the game or you lost the game. And I want to know if you still feel the same way because they had a game against the Sixers that you could make an argument that they could have won.
Sure.
You had the game last night. You can make an argument they could have won. Should have won, could have won, whatever the case is, right? There's a couple others too. The Pacers game, but that's an easy one. Portland was another one, up 7 with 2 minutes left to go. I'm under the belief that if you don't start your season 2-10, it's a different conversation. Mm-hmm. You could say you're not having to make up so much ground because of how much ground that you lost starting 2-10. If the Celtics lost yesterday, is the world going to end for them? No, they still have the best record in the NBA or second best record. If the Nuggets lost a tough game, they're 6-7 games over 500, not as big of a deal. The Lakers started the season out 2-10. All these losses that they've had since, even though they're playing better basketball, even you could make the argument, yeah, but they're hanging with Philly on the road. Yeah, they're hanging with the Boston Celtics who have the best record in the NBA. He was asked, and we'll play it here in just a second, I'm curious to get your thoughts. Do you still feel the same way? Or when you're 11-16, my opinion, you got to start cashing in some of these games.
LeBron agrees with you.
How do these almosts, like the almost in Philadelphia, the almost tonight, what does that say big picture about this team? Does it say that you guys are moving in the right direction?
That we lost. You're talking to the wrong guy, talking about an almost win.
Does it change your long-term view of this team?
No, we lost.
I would expect him to say nothing else than that. LeBron's been in the league way too long, won way too many games, too many MVPs, titles, everything else. LeBron's not in this for moral victories. He's in this to win games and win championships. Full stop. That's what he's here for, right? Score points, get Kareem. That's what he's here for. I still feel the way that I feel. I still think that seeing what we saw last night is a good data point for, this team might be better than anybody thought it was going to be. That even a team that's severely limited in talent beyond your very top-line guys, that once you get past 2 or 3 guys,
you have no idea what you're going to get every night.
You have no idea what you're going to get. It's better than I thought. So the idea of adding to it, I think last night, even though it's a loss, tells you, it may be worthwhile to try and buttress some of these top-level talents with some mid-level talent. That may be something to consider. Not for the rest of the year. What's today? Today is December 14th. So you're getting to the new year. I think that there is a time coming in the not super distant future where hey, we're playing better basketball, we're on to something here, doesn't hold a lot of water. I'm not there yet. I think that another week or two, you got to start. It's about whether you win or lose. Whether you win by 1 against a bad team or you win by 20 against a good team, it's one win.
So from that perspective, 30 days ago, I would never hear you saying,
no,
hey, maybe you should go make
I thought this team was trash.
You're a small move away from just getting a little bit better, right? You don't have to go give up 2 draft picks, this and that. That in those 30 days, obviously that's your perspective that you're coming from. I feel like I've passed that, and I'm at the AD go win the game. Game's over.
Yeah.
This is another opportunity. You got to go in that game because you're not going to get those back, right?
No.
Like that's
Well,
it.
look,
those are going to be gone in that schedule. It's not like
they've played better basketball for a month. They're still 5 games under 500. They're still in 12th place. That all of these things. Well, we beat the Bucks. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We almost beat the Sixers. Yeah, but you didn't. We almost beat the Celtics. Yeah, but you didn't. You're still 5 games under 500. You are still outside of the play-in range. You still have to crawl over another team. Now, the teams that are ahead of you and the teams that are behind you are probably these are the teams you're going to compete against, right? You've got Sacramento, who's getting closer to 500.
What are they now?
14 and 12. Okay,
what's going on over there, Taylor?
These are the teams you're competing with. So if I'm competing with 14 and 12 Sacramento, 16 and 14 Utah, 14 and 13 Dallas, am I better than Dallas? I don't know. Right now, no. If I had a guy, maybe. But am I better than the Warriors? Am I better than the Suns? Am I better than the Grizz? Am I better than the Pelicans are right now? I think the Pelicans will come back to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's 4 teams. I'm still in the bottom half of the playoff teams. Do I want to mortgage my future? Do I want to fix the car that's leaking oil, needs tires, needs brakes, needs a new transmission?
My car?
And Emily, I have Emily's car. Do I fix these things? Or do I say, you know what, I'm going to drive this car until it explodes, and I'm going to buy a new car. Maybe a couple of years from now, but then I'll buy a new car. That's what you're trying to figure out.
What we could very easily see is Russ is still on the roster.
Yeah.
And they make moves with the Patrick Beverleys of the world, the Kendrick Nunns of the world. They give up either one of those picks, but there's some restrictions to it, or they give up a couple second-rounders, and they're able to bring in a guy that can help.
I like that more. I like that plan more because a month ago, to me, I'm just talking about me, to a month ago, it's like, dude, don't touch a thing. Let this thing die on the vine and move on to the next thing. Now it's, let's be careful about what you send out, but I'm more open to the idea of tinkering with it than I was a month ago. But the idea of moving Russ out for 2 first-round, no. Don't do that. Don't go from 12th, where you are now, to being 8th. That seems like a really bad plan to me, and that's what that feels like. But if you can go from 12th to 8th, nibbling around the edges, sure, let's do that. Last night was rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
It felt like a run-out. When Russ got that dunk
freaking Graham.
Yeah, it's Graham's fault. When he got that dunk, I'm like, this is over. I could turn this off and roll over, go to bed. I can go brush my. This game's over, and it's like, stick around a little bit longer. And then, wait, what? Why are they taking those shots?
I think I figured out why I'm blaming it on Graham. I think
it usually gets
because
blamed on
usually
you.
it's on me. So I found one small opportunity. Well, yesterday he goes. He said that's his second game that he went to. I'm like, cool. What was the first game? He said Indiana. I'm like, I got him.
I don't want to be patronizing when I tell you this because I don't look at you as less than, but I'm very proud of what just happened. You just learned a very important part of doing a talk show.
Freaking got him.
Blame someone else. This is talk show host 101. Blame someone else. Whatever something goes wrong. Not my fault. You did it. I'm very happy that
wasn't
you
even
figured
working
this
that
out.
day.
They just Graham. That's just nobody. Traffic, Graham. Stub your toe on the coffee table in the middle of the night. Graham it.
Babe.
What did he do to me now?
We want him to come in here and defend himself. No.
Babe, I was going to call you. Here's what happened. Graham.
Stupid Graham got in my way.
Love you, Graham.
Just keep using that.
Just there you go. I feel like you discovered something today. I'm very, very happy about this. Baseball teams are drunk and handing out money. Get in line like Carlos Correa. That's next. Travis Sliwa, 710 ESPN. We are here with Chef Isaac Flores, one of my best guys, of course, from Meat District. We're getting ready for the ultimate grilling experience. You're not going to believe this prize package I'm going to tell you about in a second. The 100% Angus beef Meat District butcher crafted burgers, unbelievable. Here's what you want to do. GrillingLikeAChamp.com. That's where you want to go. You're going to want to enter if a chance to win. Listen to this prize package. We're talking burgers, a new cooler, a soundbox speaker, an Epson HD projector, and an ultimate VIP experience at the Rams on Christmas Day. You're talking about on the field with passes. You're talking about a VIP experience, 2 custom-made jerseys, a VIP tailgate party. You got to go to GrillingLikeAChamp.com to get in on this.
Burgers are ready.
All right. Oh, we got a little caramelized onions going here.
I always forget, you need one of these. You need one of those.
All right. Cheers.
I'm going to.
Here you go.
Salute.
Salute. And it's a double. Just saying, he knows what I'm about. Well done, Chef.
Thank you very much.
GrillingLikeAChamp.com. Get in on it. See, Welcome Back, Slee, originally comes from a TV show from the 70s called Welcome Back, Kotter, and then they remixed it into whatever this is. I don't know. Taylor, help me out here. What's this?
This is Mace.
Mace. Not our Mace. Different
Mace, when he's on vacation.
Is this what he's working on right now? I know that you don't like it when you find out that thing, but I also feel a little bit responsible to make sure that you know the history of things.
No, I don't like the song.
No,
actually, that song's got a good vibe to it.
So are you going to blame this on Graham? This is a tweet, I should say, from Bill Russ, who says, I'm an Amazon delivery driver, and I can't find the package. Thanks, Graham. So I think we've got our guy. Graham is in here with us. Graham is one of our guys here at 710 on Tommy's team. And you basically cracked the code that Graham is the
let me tell the story.
Cooler for the Lakers.
Let me tell the story. First, Graham, thank you for coming in here, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
It's been a long time no see. It's been about 12 hours since Graham and I saw each other.
Tough night.
Post-game show, just, back there, Trav, just minding my own business. I'm a man that pays my taxes with an extension. I tend to on the wheel, right? Just trying to do what I do for my job.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, Graham says, it's the second game that you've been to, correct? Second game this year.
Actually, it was my third.
Okay.
And
okay, wait.
0-3.
All right. Graham.
Even better.
Emily, we're going right into it. Even better. Okay. He's been to, from what I understand, he was at the Celtics game yesterday where Lakers were up 13 with 3.5 minutes to go. It's not funny, Taylor. He's a smirk just enjoying Lakers losing, okay?
That's not even a smirk. That's like a full-blown euphoric smile.
Well, Graham going to a game this year. I mean, there's a lot of chances he's going to see a loss. Come on.
Taylor's going to say, hey, Graham, you want to come to the Kings game? I'll buy you a couple beers.
I got you, man. I got you.
Okay, Indiana Pacers, you're at that game where Lakers are up. I think it was 17 with 9.5 left to go. You're there. What's the third game that you were at?
Third, it was Lakers versus the Jazz. I
that's
feel like,
a blowout.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk turned into like prime Moses.
He was
Malone.
Hakeem.
Crazy.
He was Hakeem.
Yeah.
Did you leave early?
So,
no,
Graham, get a little closer to the
end.
mic for me. There you go.
Okay, Graham, here's my question then. What does Tommy and Carlo, what's the team have you working next? What do you have next coming up? Do you know what games you're working?
They may fire me at this point.
Do you know what the schedule is that you're working next? Are you working the Nuggets game coming up or Charlotte, I think, after that? You working any of those games?
The Nuggets you should come to. They're probably going to lose that one anyway. You don't want them coming near Charlotte.
I'll tell you this, though. I was supposed to work the Raider game last week. I'm happy I didn't show up.
What other Rams games have you been to?
I went to Rams Cardinals.
Loss.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plus the Cooper Cup injury, which.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Stay away from
sorry
Dodger
about
Stadium,
that. Yeah,
Graham.
yeah.
Stay away
Graham,
from the Coliseum.
I got a parking ticket earlier this month. That's on you, too.
I apologize, man.
This is all on Graham.
And then.
Pointing everything towards Graham.
Yeah, I was at Rams Seahawks as well, where Geno Smith had that Joe Montana drive at the end. Where, I mean, I was like, "What am I seeing?"
Okay, you're a student at SC.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, you didn't go to the Pac-12 championship game, did you?
Okay, here's the weird thing. I've been.
Were you in Vegas?
No, so I've been to all the home games this year for SC.
Okay,
they won all of them. I did not go to both Utah games though, so I think it's kind of like a reverse.
So you have
here.
immunity. You have like something like when you get a disease, and you're inoculated against the thing that gave you the disease.
Antibodies.
Maybe you're safe. Antibodies. Thank you, Emily. That's far
well, that
better.
doesn't help us because I'm not living and breathing off SC. I'm living and breathing off the Lakers.
He's got SC antibodies, but he's going to sink the Lakers. He's going to sink the Rams.
I think it has to do with all the teams Sliwa likes. I guess.
Do you have a baseball team?
You're right.
Dodgers.
Oh boy. I don't know about that.
I got to start going to more Padre games,
I
guess.
Go to the Padres. Go to the Angels. Just stay away from Dodgers.
I'm the one that has to stay away from Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it's right. You were 0
for the wrong reasons.
You were 0 for 1. Would you like to defend yourself in any meaningful way?
I mean, the one thing I will say, I mean, it's not like we're talking about the 95 Bulls here, you know. They have lost.
I love this guy.
Slee turned off his mic. Go ahead, Graham. We can turn that back on.
Guy out of here.
Yeah. I mean, he's
it's
not
just a button.
He's not.
You can turn the button back.
He's not
on.
wrong.
It's not the. It's not the 96.
It wasn't Shaq
Bulls.
and Kobe out there last night.
No, it wasn't. It was a 16-point lead. Or no, a 13-point lead.
After a 20-point deficit.
And it was a 17-point lead against the Pacers.
I mean, I'll tell
that I don't have much
you get when you find out what game you're working next, can you let us know, please?
Yeah, of
Just
course.
keep us posted on that.
Let me
We'd
know
love
which
to
way you're taking to the arena or the stadium, too. I'd like to stay off those freeways. I'd like to...
110 is closed.
Go wherever. Look, I'll go I'll take the train, I'll ride a bike, a Lime scooter, whatever it takes. I just want to stay away from it. Thanks, Graham.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right.
So if you play shortstop in the major leagues, you get a 25-year deal for $6 trillion. That's the new metric in Major League Baseball. Carlos Correa, a 13-year deal. Carlos Correa is 28 right now. He's a fantastic player. I hate him, and I hope he never gets another hit, but he's a really good baseball player, and he's going to make the Giants better, but not 13 years from now he's not. what's the deal in baseball, Al, that we always go, oh my God, that was just from the moment it was signed, like that's a really bad deal. Pujols.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
The Pujols was still a really good player in St. Louis, but it had already started to tip, right? And then he was okay for a few years with the Angels, and then the Angels had about 6 or 7 years where he was dead weight. This is what the Bogaerts deal is going to look like.
Okay.
This is what the Correa deal is going to look like. All of these crazy long-term deals. The only one that I feel kind of good with because he's such a freak athlete is Trey Turner. Trey Turner, you could put him at second base. You could put him at first base. You could put him somewhere in a corner outfield or right left field or something. He can make his way through that. What is Xander Bogaerts going to look like 10 years from now? Nothing good. 8 years from now, 6 years from now.
So part of, and this is not to justify, because I don't think there's a justification on this. I think part of the reason why they think that $24 million a year in 7 or 8 years, with these player contracts only increasing annually and everything else, the revenue that's coming in, other revenue streams, I'm assuming they're banking on that $24 million a year in 7-8 years won't feel like $24 million a year today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you that's the right strategy.
I think it's part of the equation, though.
But I think it is some of it. I don't know really how to. The Dodgers have been in an interesting spot. If I told you right now the Dodgers, the season is going to start today, and the lineup of Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Max Muncy, Gavin Lux. I'm assuming Vargas is going to get opportunities as well. Maybe
Altman,
not.
Bush.
Mookie Betts, who's going to be at center, I'm not sure. Chris Taylor. And you go with that rotation that you're looking at. Compared to what some of these other teams in the NL West or the Phillies grabbing Trey Turner, how do you view the Dodgers right now? They're still going to win how many games? 90 plus?
Yeah, that feels about right.
I think so.
I don't think they'll win 100 with what they have right now because for two reasons. One, they're not as good as they were a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And two, their competition has gotten better. So those two things happen simultaneously. But if they win 90 games, that's 11 fewer games. Or no, that's 21 fewer games than they won last year. But they'd still win 90 games. They could be 21 games worse.
They would be basically, the Padres, I think, won 89, 87 or 89.
They're going to be somewhere
like
in that mix. I'd be really surprised if they don't do it. I have exactly one complaint with the Dodgers.
Okay.
One. What are you guys doing in the postseason? That's it. I don't have a roster complaint. I don't have an evaluation complaint. I don't have a financial complaint. I don't have a development complaint. Fair. I don't have a aggressiveness complaint. That if this is what they think they should do, I'm here for it. I'll stamp it right now as 100% for it. It's weird that they're kind of sitting it all out. It's odd, but that Bogaerts deal is a terrible deal. Mm-hmm. That Correa deal is a terrible deal. That the Dodgers are saying, we're not doing that, I think speaks to how smart they are. They'll figure it out. They'll find a Muncy, a Taylor, a Justin Turner. Not that they're easy to find, but they've proven that they can find those guys. They'll find a Tyler Anderson and Andrew Heaney. They'll draft a Tony Gonsolin. They'll find their guys because they've proven they can find their guys. It's really odd that everyone else is going nuts and the team with the most money is like, yeah, we're good. It's super peculiar, but they've earned the benefit of the doubt in my mind.
So it's funny when you explain it that way because where I think it's fair to say that if the Dodgers were here and everybody else was here, Dodgers lost some players.
Sure.
Trey Turner's a big piece, so they came down a little bit. Other teams went and added players. They came up a little bit.
Yep.
But really everybody, what they're trying to do is just catch up to the Dodgers. I can't argue with give them the benefit of the doubt, but when you say something's brewing, something's happening, something's going on, I also, the Dodgers they've created this in your mind. No, they're the ones that go out and sign that Freddie Freeman, or they go out and make the trade that not just includes Max Scherzer, but it's Trey Turner. They went out and got Trevor Bauer, like it or not, but they did, and he was obviously a big-time free agent at the time. They went and traded for Mookie Betts.
Yep.
They've done all these moves.
And took on a bunch of crazy payroll to do it.
David Price, where they have to pay half of whatever was owed. And the fact that nothing has happened is the weirdest thing.
It is.
Because they don't do nothing.
They typically do, but you know what? I'm okay. A, this isn't the team they're going to open spring training with. B, even if it was, they'll add players during the way. At some
and they'll
point,
still win. We just said they'll still they're going to make the playoffs with this roster.
I feel remarkably comfortable that somebody in the group of Vargas, Outman, Bush, Cartaya, one of those guys is going to be, oh, yeah, he's really good. So you've got that guy. They'll make moves at the deadline because they always typically make a move at the deadline. I'm not worried about it.
Do you agree
at
with
all.
this? Do you agree with this? That there is also something about when you're bringing up your own guys and they're getting opportunities to play. You know how you were talking about, give me something fresh, some excitement. Fans like that. You know, I'm not telling you that they want your roster
Fans
to be
like
like
winning.
that. They like winning,
Yeah.
but they also like their own young player. Hey, this guy has
They
some
like winning.
major opportunity.
If you can develop your own Clayton Kershaw, it's a little different than if you go and.
But they already got all the other pieces.
That's what I mean.
So
Yeah.
what my point is that it's not like you have it's not D'Angelo Russell and this and that where all you have is young pieces. You have big time players on top of
I
that.
love that they're letting these other teams spend money like this, and they're just they're going, okay, you guys go do your thing. We'll shop over here for the time being. I do think that they're going to jump back in a different way.
They'll spend their money at some point.
They absolutely will, but they're not going to spend it. They're not going to go buy the car because they didn't get the house. They're not doing that. They don't.
How about
do
that story?
That
The hell?
it's a very expensive car. And it's, a month later, I can't believe I bought that. I don't even need it. I don't even like it. It's not a good move.
You know what he said? It's Graham's fault.
Well, I'll just take Carlos Correa for 13 years. He had a Carlos Correa in his driveway a month after the fact that he didn't get the Trey Turner deal done. That's what it was. The Dump, Super Crosstalk, coming up next. It's Travis.
Hey, Laker fans, John Ireland here. Have you downloaded the new ESPN LA app? You got to get this thing. It's great. You can get Travis and Sliwa, Mason and Ireland, Sedano and Cap, and all of our Lakers talk with Slee right in the palm of your hand.
You're just one tap away from everything Lakers. You could even win Lakers tickets.
React to the Lakers on ESPN LA app.
Download the new ESPN LA app in the App Store or on Google Play.
Let's start with this. This is going to, Laker fans, I'm very sorry that you're going to have to listen to this. I know that this is still, even 11 years after the fact, an incredibly sore subject among Laker fans. It was on this day, December 14th, 2011, that Chris Paul was traded from the Hornets to the Clippers. That was just a handful of days after the trade that would have sent him to the Lakers, that was vetoed by Commissioner David Stern for Slee. Basketball reasons.
Yeah, that was cool.
That still just is a knife in the heart of Laker fans.
Can I tell you that I think of all the kind of moments in the NBA. Moments in the NBA. Big-time moments, huge free agent signings, big-time trades where you're like shocked, contracts that went down.
Yeah.
I actually do believe that the Chris Paul moment, that's a really big moment in NBA history. Do you know of a time where the commissioner is jumping in and stopping a trade? Remember, they had the lockout, and this was just coming off of the lockout. And the whole idea and the concept of the lockout was the advantage that big markets have, that it's not fair the way it's all going down. And the Pelicans go make a trade.
When the Pelicans didn't have an owner at the time. So
It was in between.
Right.
Yep.
It was this weird timing of it all where David Stern was actually kind of running the Hornets.
So the GM had full authority to do everything.
Apparently not.
But I guess, at least the way David Stern put it, the league would have final approval because there wasn't anybody there.
Yeah, it was a weird
If
deal.
you're the Lakers, you're giving up Lamar Odom, you're giving up Pau Gasol. I mean, you think Chris Paul and Kobe are enough to win championships?
Well, is that they had
with OKC, the Spurs, still
Dwight
in the mix.
Howard. Wasn't Dwight Howard coming?
Not yet.
I'm trying to think here. I think you take your chances with Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant. Absolutely, no question about it. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was, if the Lakers were giving up whatever they were giving up, like the way you just described it, would approve the trade.
Can I be devil's advocate for a second? And this doesn't hit me the way that I think it hits you. I don't know. Chris Paul is a Hall of Fame player, but Chris Paul's been in the league a long time.
Yeah,
he's ball dominant. Kobe's ball dominant.
He's been in the league a long time. He's been in the finals once with a really good team. This idea that Chris Paul is the piece. Why do we think that?
I'll tell you why. I think that Chris Paul at his absolute best, his peak, and he was not going to be anywhere near the best player on your team because Kobe was there. He's never really been, even Chris Paul in the Clipper days, Blake Griffin was a really athletic, good player. DeAndre Jordan was a nice, hey, I just lob the ball up and you get it.
Yeah.
But the difference between what Kobe was in his prime, between what Chris Paul and Chris Paul was the second best player.
I hear you on that, but that Chris Paul's one of
I
those
get
guys
it.
that's
I know what you mean. Can I give you an example of what it is? Is when I say, hey, look at the Clippers on paper.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've been looking at them on paper.
It's one of those things. I get it. He's terrific. He's going to the Hall of Fame. All of those things. I'm not saying he's not good, but this idea that, well, if you get him, it's over. Are we sure?
It's never
he doesn't
over,
feel
but
like that. So for instance, you get LeBron James, you get Giannis, you get Kobe, you get Shaq, there are guys like, oh yeah, we got that. Get ready. That was more of a, this could be interesting. They'll be good, but it just didn't feel like the slam dunk that a lot of Laker fans felt.
Eventually ended up with Steve Nash, and then Nash got injured right out the gate, and that just
but that's another one of those. I think at the time he was like, oh hell yeah, let's go. Remember the cover of Sports Illustrated with the four of those
Nash,
guys on it.
Powell, Dwight, and
Kobe. Yeah, it was a complete bust.
Why? What happened? I thought they were fine. They got swept in the first round. It's
You never, ever know how it's going to go. All right. A study by Market Force asked 5,000 North American consumers about their fast food habits and found that McDonald's customers had the least loyal customers, while Chick-fil-A had the most loyalty, followed very closely by In-N-Out at number 2. That sounds about right to me. I'm not surprised by that. Chick-fil-A people are out of their minds. In-N-Out people are out of their minds.
Okay, but am I wrong on this? McDonald's, I feel like, has loyalty.
No,
I like McDonald's.
You can come and go. People get it. It's like a second choice.
Yeah, but I thought a come and go was like a Jack in the Box, Wendy's,
That's
like
McDonald's
places
for
that
me.
are Arby's, places that are close by.
I eat McDonald's. I like McDonald's. Okay, so I'm saying this as a McDonald's customer. It's always a choice of convenience.
The In-N-Out, no question about it. And I think actually the Chick-fil-A, there's people very passionate about Chick-fil-A.
Crave it.
McDonald's is a choice of convenience, whereas In-N-Out is a choice. I want In-N-Out. I'm going to get a double-double. McDonald's, I'm starving. Oh, there's a McDonald's. I like McDonald's. I'll have that.
In-N-Out, I think people dress up for it. Like they're like, I'm going to go put on a nice shirt.
You dress up to go to In-N-Out?
No, I'm saying that's how people are. That's how passionate they are about
wrong
In-N-Out.
with you?
Like when I go
You
to
do
In-N-Out,
feel like you're making a better choice.
I feel like, I'm going to In-N-Out.
Yes.
But if I go to McDonald's, I'm
That's
like,
all.
you
Yeah.
go to McDonald's for lunch.
In-N-Out.
I kind of have to like make an excuse for it.
I tell my girl, get your hair done. We're going to
In-N-Out is intentional.
Dressed up. I mean,
McDonald's
I just don't hate myself quite as much.
Right. Well, it's better. It's terrific. Who doesn't like it? Little Supercross talk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Sliwa?
Super Crosstalk begin. It's time for Super Crosstalk.
Very quick World Cup update. France is into the final against Argentina. They beat Morocco 2-0 in the other semifinal.
These are our picks.
Today.
Emily's picks.
Who did France beat 4 years ago in the final?
Croatia.
Yeah, Croatia.
So it's like almost a repeat of what we did the last time, right? Argentina was in the final 8 years ago against Germany, right?
I will take your word on that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
Germany trounced them.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That was the Messi versus the machine.
Oh,
and
okay.
Germany,
Well, that's the year
Close up.
Germany beat Brazil 7-1.
yeah.
In the semis.
And then Germany had that team that was and then Germany just rolled Argentina and beat them.
Maybe that's what I was thinking when I picked Germany in our little 7-10
Fair.
pool to go to win the World Cup. They didn't even get out of pool
Does
play.
anyone have France or Argentina?
Aldo.
France, Argentina.
Nice.
Somebody on our team has got to have on our show has got to have France. I had Brazil.
I had England.
They were a big letdown.
What do we know? All right, you ready
we
for
really don't know anything.
Yeah, someone chose USA, so I'm like, okay.
That seems like an
Somebody did?
aggressive pick.
Yeah, I saw on the graphic someone chose USA. I can't remember who it was.
That's
but I saw
very
it there.
Vic the Brick picking USA. When we were working with Vic back in the day, and Vic's just a great guy.
He is.
But when we were working with him back in the day, he couldn't physically bring himself to pick against any local team. So when USC played UCLA every year, we would just berate him. Who are you taking, Vic? Who are you picking? It could go either way. It could. I can see the Bruins rising up. The Trojans, strong favorite. Should be a great game. Who's going to win? Could go either way. He just would not do it.
That's a really good Vic.
Yeah.
That's a
Just
really good
would not
Vic.
do it. And Michael would berate him, and I would berate him. He just wouldn't do it.
When did you work with Vic?
Vic, when Mason and I were at the other station, Vic actually had a show right after
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Okay, that's
And
right.
very briefly,
Yeah,
Mike Thompson, our old boss, very briefly hired Karl Malone to be Vic's co-host. It was like
Whoa.
a
Wow.
summer show. Am I the only one who remembers this?
I don't remember this at all.
Oh, God, I wish Mason was here. Mason and I used to laugh so hard because
Carl Malone and Vic the Brick
and
did a show
they
together.
set Karl Malone up with a home studio, so he didn't have to come in. And it was 2 hours. And every day...
This is amazing.
Oh, and every
I
day,
can't believe it.
Vic was the 1 and Carl was the 2, but they called it the Karl Malone Show.
Sure.
But Vic had to do all the heavy lifting. And so Vic would say, Male! Outstanding
male.
performance last night. What's your thoughts? And Malone, who put in the absolute minimum amount of work. Mike hired 2 famous people back in the day and gave them shows. One was Karl Malone, and one was Terry Bradshaw. And in both cases, they completely mailed it in. Like, you could tell they flipped on the switch 30 seconds before, and they said, I'm just going to talk for 3 hours. You're like, Michael.
How do I not remember
Michael
that?
prepares endlessly. Michael writes notes all day.
Michael came in here yesterday with a old notebook full of loose leaf paper that he had written the game out on it, like 2-sided.
He's the best.
So I've seen Michael's notebook and I've seen the papers.
It's so great.
He doesn't throw anything away
No.
either. So if he makes a note on something a year and a half ago, it's still in the notebook on one of those loose leaf
I used to.
Yes, that's on Craig Elo right now.
I finally won the argument, but Mason and Bergman used to be so defensive about Michael coming on the show because it took time away from Mason, and Mason loves me some me.
I can relate.
So I go, you guys are missing this. I go, Michael's like the crazy uncle you want at every party, and Greg's like, all right, I'll give him 2 segments. I'm like, you don't want to put limits on it. I'm telling Greg's like, all right, fine. So then he won Greg over first, and Greg's like, Greg normally always lines up with Mason because Mason will lose his mind if he doesn't. And so,
you know what? It's like two children. One of them will just throw a tantrum, and you're like, I just don't feel like dealing with that.
Right. So, but to Greg's credit, he's like, I told Greg when he got this job, I go, the two things you're going to have to manage are Mason's mood and my schedule. Okay. And that is to this day very true.
Bergman pushed back when you did Ask Ireland earlier today. Bergman pushed back when you said that you are happy 99% of the time. He thinks that number is wildly overinflated.
What
Way
percentage of time would you say I'm happy?
I think you're not happy with me specifically, like 3% of the time.
No, I'm not happy with you 90%.
No, right? No, that's what. Okay,
Yeah.
I went backwards.
But-
Yes. So you can't be happy if you're not happy with me. So therefore,
But Arnama, in terms of
65%.
your job of producing the show, I'm a lot easier to manage than Mason because I just don't put up any fights.
And you're not a disagreeable
that's true.
person in general.
Yeah, but the fight, Greg, you can chip in on any of the stories. So eventually, Michael started to make Greg laugh, and then when Greg became APD, he's like, okay, I Michael does add something when he comes in. I'm just going to roll with it. Like Greg said, I used to fight it. Now I'm going to roll with it. And then Michael won Greg over. The problem is that it was still taking time away from Mason. So Mason would complain to Bergman, what's the deal, man? Michael's taking all my airtime. I can't, I don't want Michael on the show. So Greg goes, okay, I'll handle it. And then Greg finally just said, no, I'm not putting up the fight.
How did you
finally get Mason to cave? I don't even know.
It wasn't so much that he decided that he wanted to allow him onto the show again and be there. So it became like, oh well, Greg was the one that didn't actually want him on the show.
I will stand up for you here. You never felt super strongly about not having him on the show, but Mason did, and so Greg basically took the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, very good way of putting it. So anyway, so Greg, you just walked in. Do you remember Bergman? Mike Thompson, our old boss.
Yeah, he didn't hire me.
Okay, he had two guys he put in the air, and I've never seen two people mail it in. Well, I just thought of a third guy that mailed it in more than anybody I've ever seen, but.
I'm going to need that name at some point.
No, it's coming. Yeah. And I think he would even admit it.
Okay.
But Terry Bradshaw and Carl Malone, when Mike gave him a show, Carl was so bad that he could not remember Vic's name.
Oh my
God.
So Vic would start the show. Male outstanding baseball last night at the Ravine. Well, Nick, I didn't see the game.
Oh, no.
But if you're a professional athlete, you shake those losses off. And he'd go, Male, outstanding insight. It was just painful to listen to.
Your Vic is better than your Carl Malone.
Carl Malone from Utah.
Were they all short answers?
Amazing Carl Malone.
Carl Malone.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
To the point where he once did Carl Malone in blackface.
Oh no!
And he has been apologizing for it ever since.
Yeah.
It still exists, and I think I love Jimmy. I think he was successful in getting it off the internet.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Because people came after him because he
just
dressed,
keeps resurfacing.
Yeah,
That's
he
the
just
thing.
dressed up like Malone, painted his face, and he was like doing Malone's voice. So he's apologized for it profusely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Different time. I'm Team Jimmy, so I'm okay with that. But
how about that combo?
But that
Vic and Carl Malone,
and it was as bad as I'm making it sound. It was worse.
All right, who's the third guy?
Chris Myers. Oh my
Oh
God.
yes, I've experienced that.
So we were.
That's true.
Chris was a great guy who's now at Fox.
Yeah.
Great, really good sportscaster. Did up close for many, many years. When the Fox Sports Radio Network first started,
Did he not do a show with DeMarco for a period of time?
I can't remember, but he did a show with
tomorrow.
Steve Lyons on the Fox Sports Radio. I don't think it ever aired in L.A. It just was. We all worked at this national network, and I'm not kidding. Chris and Steve would have a race to see who could show up the closest to the start of the show. And Chris would walk in like 5 seconds before the start of the show.
What's wrong with that?
And just roll,
That's a
and then
great
the minute
response.
the show ended, gone. And it was like those were the three.
Al, you'd be here at
You guys,
10:01
did you ever do any
tomorrow.
shows?
Coming in
I
late.
did. Mike Thompson had me do late night shows,
Mm-hmm.
like late night, like 8 to 10 or something.
Yeah.
With Retta World Peace.
Was he any good?
It's okay.
Well, that is.
I mean, he was
Interesting.
definitely
and he
not,
does a good job
Yeah.
TV wise. He gives his insight.
It's
Over the
okay.
years, I've done shows with a lot of like quote unquote celebrity co-host. A couple of them that you wouldn't think would be
Good.
and who were great. First one, Jeannie Buss was great.
Oh, she's a preparer.
Yeah. She
Well, and
came
she's
in ready.
honest,
She brought
she'll tell
got
you-
personality
Well,
too.
she's calling me and she's going, "Hey, you want me to call John McEnroe?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "You want me to call Phil?" Yes. And she was like getting all these people, and they would come on and she would ask them all these
She
great
also
questions.
like shows up really prepared.
Right.
Like I've done interviews with her where a lot of times like I'm the one who's supposed to be prepared. I'm the interviewer. I'm supposed to have read everything, and when you show up prepared, people can tell.
Sure.
Like you're not searching for something. What was that story you did like 5 years ago about?
No,
you should have read it. When you show up with her, like she's done the preparation too.
Well, I think because she at her core, Jeannie understands entertainment. You know, she's had that in her life the whole time. So she she's like just because she wanted to try it, she took a spin at stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And she was
there's videos of her doing it.
It was in Hawaii when we were over there at training camp. And
How'd she do?
Great.
Really?
Great. Yeah, she took classes on it, and then she went to a
made fun of
comedy club.
herself. Well, you know,
I'd have to check that out.
She was great. The other one, and in a million years, people that know him, Momo will back me up on this, would think, "Oh, this is a terrible idea. It's not going to work." John Black, the former Laker PR director,
I believe that.
On my birthday one
I
year,
remember
Mason
this.
was off, and Amanda said, "You can work with whoever you want. Who do you want to work with?"
Wow.
I go, "I want to work with John Black. I sit next to him on the Laker plane. I think he'd be really funny." John came in. We didn't even talk about sports.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
He could totally
He
do
was
this.
good.
How long ago was that, by the way?
6-7 years ago.
Okay.
I got my very first on-air job. After I left Rome, I went to Houston, lived in Houston for just shy of a couple of years, and was doing my show there. And all the contacts I had were back here in L.A. So I was always trying to find a way to get somebody on from L.A. that would connect to Houston at one point. So I called John. I knew John didn't know John well.
Yeah.
And he was...
John, for people who don't know, is the former PR director of the Lakers. He was there for 30 years. Yeah. Everybody in L.A. knows John.
And so it was the anniversary of when Magic was diagnosed with HIV.
Okay.
And so I reached out to him and said, "Hey, we'd love to have somebody come on and talk about this." And he said, "Look," and I said, "Hey, would you want to do it?" And he goes, "Sure, I'll do it." Brought him on. Amazing.
Yeah.
Just an amazing guest, an amazing storyteller, to the point where I put him on a couple more times just looking for reasons.
Does he
to
know
put him
that
on.
he's
He's terrific.
Yeah, you know why? You know why he's good? He has no filter. And he's like this way in real life, too.
Yeah.
Like, I used to make him mad, and he would just kill me. He'd go, "That's the stupidest effing thing you've ever done. Why would you do that? Get in." And then he would be dressing me down. And then after it was over, he would go, "All right, let's go to dinner." He's like, but he does.
But he was around everybody too. Like
Yeah,
he was adjacent to all these amazing moments, and he'll tell the stories and tell them incredibly well.
Yeah, and he was all right. So I want to, before you guys get out of here, I want to circle back to something because I heard you debating the Laker game, and Momo was at the game last night. Unbelievable game.
Ugh.
It was an unbelievable game. It was like I was sitting.
I
with
thought it was
Sedano.
over like 4 times.
John, did it not feel pre-COVID?
Oh yeah,
The energy in there?
and almost playoff like with
It
the
did
crowd.
feel almost play. And I was sitting with Sedano, and we were both really tired because we've been going and going. And Sedano tried to get up and leave like 4 times, and he had to stay.
Okay, so
I would
here's
definitely sell him
I
out
think the media, and I'm including all of us in this, is massively misdiagnosing what is going on with the Lakers.
Okay.
And you two fell into the trap, I think, and we'll see if you fall into it.
All right.
Trav, more than anything else, why are the Lakers losing?
They don't shoot well,
So what do you think?
and they're not deep.
I was just going to say, depth for them, I think, would be the difference of if you had another player that you can depend on night in, night out.
Okay, so before I go to Momo, pull up the box score from last night because I'm going to ask you something about
Okay.
it. Ramona, why do the Lakers have a losing record?
I think they just need to feed Anthony Davis and play through him more. And at the end of the game, they settle for 3-pointers.
Okay.
Ramona's
the only one who even mentioned it. Trav, if you and I were playing golf, you're a little better than me, so I would ask you for some strokes.
My 4-0 record would indicate I'm a lot better than you.
Okay.
But go ahead.
But I have one tie that I'm not proud of. I had to make a 5-foot putt to save the tie.
Sure.
But if we agreed to 3 strokes, like I said, you got to give me 3.
That sounds right.
Okay? And then we get to the course, and I say, you know what, Trav? I need 23. I don't need 3. I need 23. Slee, how many 3-pointers did the Celtics make last night?
19.
How many did the Lakers make?
8.
Okay.
Whoa.
So
Yeah, they're plus
minus 33. Okay. It happens almost every game.
Too many threes.
No. The disparity in threes. All right?
Wow.
The Lakers can't shoot them, but more importantly, they don't defend them well. And so I went to one of the assistant coaches and I said, look at this, man. You guys are digging out of a hole. It's as if we were an NFL game, it'd be like you're taking the field down 21 to nothing.
Touchdowns, yeah.
Wow.
I go, why do you allow this? And they said, well, our philosophy is we're not giving up dunks and layups and easy shots at the rim. If you want to do that, you're going to run into Anthony Davis or LeBron James or somebody. We'll live with the threes. I go, you're not living by the threes. You're dying by the threes. So, like Trev, you were talking about potential moves. Any move they make, I think, has to address that specific
Perimeter
problem.
defense?
They either have to get a lockdown defender who can take the likes of Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. That was supposed to be Patrick Beverly. So far, it's not working.
Or
Troy Brown
a
Jr.'s
three-point
he
shooter.
played a lot.
Or a guy like Bogdanovich who shoots 40% from three that can tighten that window. If we made 8 and they made 19, okay? So they had 33 more points than we did.
How
from
many
the three-point line.
did they take and how many did the Lakers take?
And
They took 21 more than the Lakers.
Okay,
19 more than the Lakers.
But Slee, think about this. We almost and probably should have
won the game.
So the Lakers are so good because of Anthony Davis and LeBron, because those guys are just awesome.
Yep.
They're so good that they can put up with being a little bit, but you can't spot them 33
You
points.
can be underwater, but not by that much.
I would even argue the Lakers can spot the other team 10 points from the three-point line.
I just
Okay,
thought
or not, like it'd have to be 9 or 12. Well, I'll
Right.
give you 12. Like, let's say the Lakers make 10 threes and the other team makes 14.
Yeah.
All right. The Lakers are so good from the two-point area and so good at the free throw line that they could sustain 12. Matter of fact, last night, if they would have sustained 12, they would have won by 20.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about it. It happens almost every game, not just a little bit. Not just a little bit. 20-plus points
but John,
almost every game.
Do you see even the Celtics yesterday, which is the right thing to do? They're baiting them. Go. You want to take a three? Go ahead and take it.
Right.
And Lakers don't always fall into that trap. They don't. You know, Bron went 14 to 25 yesterday. That's an incredibly efficient stat line.
So was AD.
But 8 of those misses were from 3.
Yeah.
As in, there's going to be, as the game progresses too, you could tell he's got tired legs. He can't keep going to the basket every possession.
That's the thing that
he's
jumps out to
40
me.
plus minutes in the game already.
Right.
I think they also
But
get baited into it because you can't hit threes.
What I'm arguing is it never should come down to that. It should never get that far. You have to narrow that deficit somehow. You either have to defend better when they're shooting them, or you have to get better at making them yourself. But you cannot, I don't think, make a playoff run if you're spotting the other team 20 to 30 points on a nightly basis.
In a game that's all about threes now.
Watch when Denver comes on Friday. It'll be the same thing. And by the way, if you go and look at the games in which the Lakers have gotten hot from 3 and won the three-point battle, they win them all because they're so good at everything else.
5
they've
and 15
got to tackle that
against winning teams. They're 5 and 15 against winning teams so far this year. Is it all of that because of that disparity that you're talking about? Because that's a big part of it, and,
Right.
and I'm glad you laid it out. But it feels like that's a part of it. They don't have. They're playing their guys heavy minutes like we saw again last night.
All those are
shoot well.
factors. But what I'm saying, Trav, is using my golf course analogy. When we get to the course, you're giving me 20 strokes.
Right, before
when
we
the
get a shot.
Lakers take the court Friday night, you can assume Denver's going to be plus 20, or in the case of last night, plus 33, and they almost won.
Yeah.
They probably AD
Should've won.
AD makes either
Yeah,
one of those
should've won.
free throws, they probably do win.
Yeah.
That's a couple of times in the last week that the free
But
throws
more
haven't gone.
people, more Laker fans, more Laker media need to focus on that statistic because it's a huge part of the game today.
Yeah.
Mason and Ireland coming up next. Momo's in for Mason. We'll see you tomorrow.
The world.